Welcome back to Global Desi Women. I'm your host, Arti Solanki, a business coach, real estate broker, and your guide to today's inspiring conversation. Joining me are my wonderful co host, Bhavna Shelley, a consultant, and she's dedicated to uplifting voices within the community. And Bhavna Luthra, a licensed marriage and family therapist with experience of almost 2 decades. Together, we bring you stories and insights to empower women from all walks of life. Today, we have an extraordinary guest, Sunita Tarkunde. Sunita holds a master's degree in Ayurveda, a registered nurse in Texas, and also a certified yoga instructor. She's dedicated to helping individuals achieve balance in their physical, mental, and spiritual selves through the wisdom of Ayurveda and yoga. In this episode, we will explore the ancient principles of Ayurveda, practical tips for incorporating it into your life, and how it aligns with modern wellness practices. So grab your cup of chai and get ready for an enlightening conversation that could transform how you view your health and vitality. Sunita, welcome to the show. We are so thrilled to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor to be with people who are like-minded and entrepreneur themselves, and it's a nice thing to join the hands with you all today. Nice to
I
see you,
appreciate
both Bhavna and Arti.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start by, when I was reading your background, I was like, how has your background as a nurse and yoga instructor influenced your approach to Ayurveda?
Okay, so this would be other way around. How Ayurveda has helped me because I'm originally Ayurveda practitioner.
Right.
This is what I studied back home in India, and when I came to this country, especially, no one knows about Ayurveda. So I started
Mm,
my career as a yoga teacher. So through yoga, I started talking about Ayurveda and practicing Ayurveda and realized that I need to know a little bit about medicine. And that's when I did my nursing. So nursing kind of helped me to link these two things, the Western medicine and Ayurveda, to see it from their own point of view and to be able to assist whoever come my way in the best possible scenario, as if the East is meeting the West, and giving them the idea of what can they do to make it better and beneficial to their lives.
right. Right. Wow. So yeah, I guess you're correct when I said it the other way, but it's like first Ayurveda and then the other steps comes along the way. Yeah. So for those who don't know Ayurveda, who are unfamiliar, I think in today's world, day and age, everybody, if not have not used it or practiced it, they at least know the word Ayurveda, right? But how would you explain like the basic principles of Ayurveda who's really unfamiliar
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it?
So, this is how the every discussion starts. That what is this Ayurveda? Most of us who are coming from India are familiar with it, have heard it, have used it in their, childhood. Maybe doing some kada here, maybe doing some churan there. And this is how people look at Ayurveda. That kuch to kada hai, or some churan le rahe, and this is a natural thing. They don't have a side effect. These kind of things that we know, and there are many myths that go around that logic also. That is there any scientific understanding behind Ayurveda? Is it proven? Is it evidence based? That's a new word now. That's what
Mm,
people want to learn and understand. And to bring it into a nutshell, this word Ayurveda is science of life. Ayu is life, Veda is science.
mm,
So what we can say is this is the most holistic way of looking at human life in totality.
yeah.
So when someone goes to Ayurveda practitioner, we ask a lot of questions from all sides of life because each and everything has an effect on this piece of life that is in the center. So
Mm,
that's how the holistic version comes. So nothing is left out of consideration. Everything matters. Be it a diet, be it a lifestyle, be it your job, be it the stress, be it the environment, anything and everything. And then we come up with a plan that can best help them to come to a different, better level by using least invasive methods. And that can be, anything again. It can be, like the counseling. That's all some people need, or seeing it from a different perspective, the same problem. And the problem is just dissolved as
Yeah.
if it was never there before. So we can do it with breath work, we can do it with foods, we can do it with herbs, we can do it with body work, we can do it with words like talking and
Mhm.
explaining, showing them how it works. Because Ayurveda is a very ancient old wisdom of healing this human system. This is time tested. I would say it is at least 5,000-year-old science.
Yeah.
And it's not great because it's ancient, it's great because it works.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact that this is still around, being practiced, getting popular, like almost everyone knows about it. Even the medical community have started using it for themselves. So this must mean there is efficacy to the science itself. We
Yeah.
just need to pinpoint what that life that is sitting in front of me needs at that particular time. It is
Yeah.
a simple way of looking at it. This is very, very simple, easy. Anyone can learn it in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It just has to be
And
applied to
I
life.
think in our Indian household, like you said, we all kind of grew up with it. Like even if we have not gone to the, the practitioner, we still have home remedies that our parents and grandparents and they've all
Absolutely.
done and like, oh, have this herb or have this thing.
Everything that happens in the Indian household has a link to Ayurveda. Be it our festival, be it the way we cook our food, be it the way we eat certain things at certain time of the year.
Yeah.
It has a link with Ayurveda, and there has to be some explanation because there are many things that we do because our parents did it.
Right.
There is a link to the wellness that
Mm.
goes with it in Ayurvedic understanding, and that's a very interesting thing to figure out. Once you hear it, it's like, huh, that's why we do what we do.
Right.
It's a
Right.
fun thing.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. And Sunita, it does it sometime conflict with these days the younger generation when you tell them that you should do this like some sort of natural remedy for some cold or something like that, and you get rejected and say it doesn't work, and they immediately go towards the modern medicine. We know what side effects there are, but the natural remedy sometimes works, sometimes it takes a longer time. What are the, how do you manage that, or how do you explain or tackle those kind of scenarios?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And yes, I get that all the time. I have two kids, so my kids grew around Ayurvedic, regimen at home. And if explained in a more scientific way, kids will, because they need the logic. The younger generation won't do it. I probably did it because my parents told me and I had no option. But this generation is going to ask questions. So if you cannot answer the question, then they're not going to do it. So if there is a way to explain it in a better scientific way, then there is a chance that they will feel up to trying it out. It's true that if you take the medical pill as opposed to Ayurvedic stuff, it's going to give you fast, quick result. Like let's say I have a headache. In Ayurveda, we are going to look at what is it that is creating the headache. Why are we having the headache? Is there anything that we unknowingly did wrong because of which this is what the body is telling?
Mm.
This is where Ayurveda is going to take you. And of course, we will get a remedy that will help you to solve the issue, get relief from the headache. No one is interested in doing that when they have a headache, right? So they need a relief. And that relief comes with a pill, and there is nothing wrong with it. So to begin with, yes, we can take a pill, get a relief, and then come to this understanding that why am I getting this recurrent headache again and again? That's when it's worth pointing it out and showing them that is what your body is trying to tell you, because body talks to you. This is the way of communication from the system, and we have to interpret it in a scientific way.
Yeah.
I know we hear a lot about these
I
doshas.
cannot hear you. You need to probably
I know my mic is
raise your voice
see.
Yeah, she's
on your
having
unit.
issues today with her microphone today. But I think she wants to ask about the doshas, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of talks about doshas, right? Can you explain what they are and why they're important balancing? I know there's if I'm not mistaken, Agni and Vayu, and then there's
We did
one more.
study.
And then one more, right?
Vata, Pitta,
Vata,
And
Pitta.
Kapha.
and
Yeah,
Kapha.
there you go.
You
There you
did
go.
your homework. Good. Good job, girls. Okay. So this is how Ayurveda explains what is running the show here. How does the body work? And that's why I said I can explain you in 10, 15 minutes. If you go to any medical professional, one, the language is different. We don't get those words. They are very complicated. We cannot pronounce them as a layperson. And two, they don't have time. But when someone goes to Ayurveda practitioner, we take our time to show them, to get interested in how their bodies work, because we can quickly learn it. Clearly, we know that we are not the one who govern our own bodies. I don't dictate this is my heartbeat. This should be the heartbeat right now. This should be my blood pressure right now. Or this much urine needs to be produced right now. We don't do this. This
Mm.
body is governed by something else. This is beyond our control, correct?
Right.
We don't decide what hormone to secrete when we eat certain foods or what digestive enzyme need to be secreted in the gut because I ate pizza. No, this is taken care of. So, what is it that makes the body function the way it does? If you look at all 7 billion people, no one is exactly like someone else. I'm the only one on this planet with this particular set of things, this
Mm.
kind of look, this kind of hair, this kind of speech, this kind of body, whatever. Everything is very unique, like my thumbprint. What is it that makes me unique? What is it that will dictate that I eat this food and this is how it responds here, and someone else eat the same food and may have allergic reaction?
Mm.
What is it that is inside that is already there that is making it happen the way it does? This was the search of a mankind for millennia. So Ayurveda gives us a solution to look in this direction. It's not like a guaranteed result, but there is, instead of looking at 360-degree, you just look into 45-degree angle, and somewhere there you will find your answer. Now, the concept of the doshas, dosha is guna and dosha, right? Guna is a
Mm.
quality, and dosha, what we call as not so good thing. But in Ayurvedic terminology, this dosha, technically, we can say for now, means energy.
Mm.
There is something that is working behind the body to make the body function in certain way. Something that we cannot see. We can call it as a life energy.
Mm.
This life energy, so long as it is in balance, is going to perform all the functions in a perfect way, and you're free to enjoy your life. That is the goal of life. We all want to be happy
Mm.
for no reason.
Is there any like a good dosha and bad dosha
No,
or there?
this is just a life energy. When this life energy is expressed in a particular way, we call it this dosha, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. It's the life
Mm.
energy. It's one energy that we are plugged into, but this energy performs variety of functions. The best analogy would be looking at the electricity and, let's say, a light bulb. There is a connection established. When you turn on the switch, the bulb will start functioning, meaning giving the light. But the same electricity can make the fan run, can make the air conditioner run, can make the heater run. Apparently opposite functioning instrument run on one energy called electricity that we cannot see. We
Mm.
know electricity only through the instrument. In the same way, this body is the instrument. What is working behind the scene is the energy that is not perceivable to senses. You cannot see it. It is there, and we see it through the body functioning.
Right.
So when there is a movement happening in the body, we call it's a job of Vata. Vata is like a wind energy, like a loose slang English translation.
Mm.
So wherever there is a movement in the body, it's a job of Vata.
I see.
Because of Vata, we receive things from outside world through five senses. It's like implies a movement, right? And it passes through me.
Mm.
Once received, then the same life energy is going to do the function of processing, of
Right.
making sense out of it. What you heard, you have to make sense out of it. What you ate must get digested. What you saw, you have to understand it. So everything that is brought on board is processed by the same life energy, but we call it pitta now.
Mm.
Out of processing, you separate. It's a sorting. Processing is sorting. Like you
Mm.
separate good part from the bad part because it's a mixed bag when you receive it. That good part will be utilized to sustain the life in here. That is the job of kapha, which is like a water energy. So this is
Mm.
how vata, pitta, kapha is one energy, but it's doing a different function. It gets a different name.
Mm. I
And
always
there's a
thought the
different
pitta
way.
was like
I'll
the acidity or something like it.
That's how people think of pitta when they think of pitta, because this is a bad way of looking at pitta. So the
Right.
same dosha, when it goes out of balance, when vata is more than what you need, or pitta is more than or less than what you need, same is true for kapha, that creates imbalance. And
Mm,
that's how normally people know about this.
I
वात
see.
का प्रॉब्लम हो गया मतलब घुटने दुखने लगे, पित्त का प्रॉब्लम हो गया मतलब एसिडिटी हो गई, because this
Uh,
dosha is, we are producing it inside also.
right.
We have a manufacturing unit
Yeah.
within the human system. So when we misbehave, when we do things in a wrong way, our body goes on a wrong track. Now, if you
Mm,
look carefully, this Vata, Pitta, Kapha, wind, heat, and water is also part of nature.
yeah.
Think of wind energy out there, heat energy out there, water energy out there. This
Yeah.
is part of nature. And that's how we say human system is, in a nutshell, universe.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's the best way to say it, like our body is our temple. So that's what it
Absolutely,
is,
because they're
right?
connected with the universe and
Yeah.
they show the effect of what
Mm,
is happening out there in a miniature form in here.
right. Right.
Nice,
Wow.
nice.
That's a very nice explanation of the
And then it
three
becomes very
doshas.
simple and easy.
I really never got to, like, the whole in depth of it, and it's really nice to understand this now that we know that those three differences, because you see that all the time on online and people talking about it, and like, but to
And that's all we need
understand
to
that.
know when it comes to Ayurveda, because everything revolves around this basic concept of the doshas.
Doshas.
So long as you have the doshas that are given to you for this particular body, there is a specific combination of these three doshas. For
Mm,
that body, there is specific combination. That is my personality. That is who I am. And my job is to maintain it at that level. Honor what I have and maintain it at that level.
right,
And
right.
the all regimen of Ayurveda, all the techniques that we do are geared towards that.
So Sunita, when you diagnose someone, right? I know in Ayurveda they always check the nadi, right? And then based on the nadi, then you'll know whether if there is any imbalance or something like that. Once you decide that, how do you go about? As you said earlier, that you look at everything, right? It's nothing is left out as far as the history is concerned. What is going on with the person? Do you give that patient a regimen to follow with the medications
And the food,
and the
maybe.
food, the restrictions and everything? Is it commonly done? Because that's the biggest difficulty following Ayurveda.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's a myth that we all
It's
kind of
probably a
like,
myth, you know.
you
Probably.
know,
Because we heard a lot of things about Ayurveda from childhood and it's very strict. उसमें ये होता है, ये नहीं खाना, वो नहीं खाना. This is how it is perceived by people. And I'm here to tackle all those myths and show you the simplest and easiest path going forward so we can start making use of Ayurveda to improve our own lives.
yeah.
This, like they say, charity starts at home. If you understand the basic of Vata, Pitta, Kapha and see how far you have deviated from that because of what, then that's all I help you figure it out. So yes, pulse reading is one of the technique that is used in Ayurveda to gauge your doshas at the current level, which for most of the people is out of balance, and also to gauge where they should be. The
Mm,
level of the dosha that you're born with never changes, and that is going to dictate everything about you, the physical characteristics, the physiological tendencies, the psychological everything is according to your dosha, and
mm,
it matches exactly the way it is described in the books for thousands of years. People have been practicing it for thousands of years, and this has been working for that many number of years. We are no one special, and it works for us as well. Now, when someone comes to me for, let's say, consultation, I always start with reading the pulse because I'm learning to read the pulse, because every part of my body is going to shout out where your levels of the doshas are.
mm,
So every part. So we read the pulse. This is one of the way of how Ayurveda does it. So it's not the only thing. We ask questions also. We also do the palpation. We also, I use the stethoscope because I'm a nurse. So I will do everything in my capacity to come to conclusion of where I think is the current scenario levels of the doshas are and where they should be. Key here is the recommendation has to be practical. The recommendation has to be simple. Recommendation has to be doable, and the person needs to be convinced about why it is recommended. If
yeah.
I don't do this, what may happen? Once you see it, it's like it's like a blind spot. If someone sheds the light and you see it, that's why I'm having this problem, then you don't even need to tell the person to do what.
Yeah.
And this body of ours is such a magnificent tool of equipment that is known to readjust or recalibrate every moment to whatever you do to it. Once you have a clarity of why I'm here and I'm willing to change it to the next level, then the shift happens very fast. It doesn't take that long. What that recommendation looks like, you know, can look like, maybe simple breathing technique, can look like maybe, drinking some herbal teas that you can cook, make at home, can look like eating at specific time, or can look like eating in a certain way, or like people eat on the go. I can This is like we tell our kids, sit down and eat. Sometimes
Yeah.
adults need to be told that too, because that's when your body is completely relaxed and ready to receive whatever you're serving yourself, because this is when you make your own body, and you need to be present. You cannot be doing this on the go. This is the signal you're sending in.
Yeah. So I guess there are simple Ayurvedic practices that even busiest women entrepreneurs or anybody can incorporate in their daily lives, because I guess it doesn't have to be so complicated, or it's not like you have to completely go to the sattvic bhojan to
Absolutely.
get the results, right?
Let's face it, we live in America. We have to have a work life balance. We
Yeah.
have kids, we have to do all the work by ourselves. We don't have the luxury of having the maid for doing every little chore. So we have to find out a practical way of incorporating Ayurvedic wisdom into our day to day life. And it is not that complicated. It is simple. Someone just needs to show us.
Mm.
Once we do it, and then you don't need Sunita or any practitioner. You got it. You got the basics, and you build your life from there.
So how does yoga complement Ayurveda principles in achieving like the overall wellness? I mean, like we talk about the Ayurvedic medications or herbs or teas, and then the food that we, of course, what we eat is what we become. I guess that's what it's called, right? So, but besides that, how does it complement yoga? Complement Ayurveda?
So Ayurveda is predominantly about the body, how the body works, why do we get sick, how do we correct it, and looking at the nature in the terms of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and how far we have gone. If you look at the nature, there is a predictable way of how the nature works,
Hmm.
right? There is a day and night cycle, for example. There is a seasonal routine. This is fixed. So Ayurveda has a fixed way of looking at the physical realm, because physical body has to obey laws of physics. It's fixed. There's no if and but. This is how it goes. Vata is going to move. This is it. There is
Right.
no other energy that can move. Pitta is going to process. Even Pitta needs to be moved, and that will be done by Vata. So it's like in a loop. And that's why Ayurveda is very simple and very easy, because we have a fixed body and we have fixed way of how it works. You eat, it must get digested. There is no other option.
Yeah.
Correct? Now, let's talk about the yoga. Yoga and Ayurveda are considered as sister sciences. This word yoga means union. This
Mm.
is union of yourself with universal self, seeing no difference between that. And that is also the take of Ayurveda. We already talked about this dosha being here and there. So, as a human being, these are two tools that we have. There is a body and then there is a mind, and it is fused with one another. We see
Mm.
one.
Right.
If you dissect open a human body, are we going to find the mind? Do we know what is the color of the mind? Has anyone seen the mind? Can we see it under high power microscope? Just because we do not see the mind, it does not mean it does not exist.
Yeah.
With the same stretch of idea, just because we see the body does not mean we understand everything about it either.
Mm.
Having
Yeah.
said that, we still want to claim that Ayurveda can work. So long as there is a breath and life here, there is a healing going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ayurveda shows you how to rely on that rather than using your own head.
Yeah. True.
You just make that switch. So yoga is more about a spiritual, more of a spiritual science. But Ayurveda holds the same concept, and that's why they are considered sister sciences. They kind of complement each other. You cannot be just doing Ayurveda and not touching yoga. Neither can you be doing only yoga and not, because it's the same thing. It's just from where you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you differentiate something like a naturopathy versus the Ayurveda? Is Ayurveda more of an kind of a more medicine base, whereas naturopathy, do you do both or you just stick with the Ayurveda? I know it's a kind of
Ayurveda is
a
about Ayurveda is about everything, whatever is applicable to life, we can apply Ayurveda. So Ayurveda itself, I know only about Ayurveda. I'm not expert in naturopathy, but I have heard, like you have heard, they use the natural things, like the mud and water and all these things. That's all I know about naturopathy. I know this much about Ayurveda. And if I look at Ayurveda, and like I said earlier, there is nothing that is left out in Ayurveda. It addresses every aspect. So we have 8 branches of Ayurveda. Like yoga is Ashtanga yoga. In the same way, Ayurveda is also Ashtanga yoga. And this has been practiced for generations too. I'm not making this up. The first branch is Kaya Chikitsa, which is internal medicine. Then there is a pediatric version of it, Bala Chikitsa, Kaya Bala Graha. Then there is a planetary study, Jyotish,
Mm.
that goes there. That is part of Ayurveda. Urdhva Jatrugat, meaning above the shoulder, like ENT. Ear, nose, throat, and problems that are above my shoulder are dealt in Ayurveda through this Urdhva Jatrugat. And then Shalya Chikitsa, which is surgery. Kaya
Mm.
Bala Grhodvanga, Shalya Dranshta. Then Dranshta is a medicinal understanding or understanding about the poisons, different types of poisons that are also used in medicine. Like, Sarpavish, for example, we make, Venom. They use the, vaccines out of it. So there is a special branch that deals with that in Ayurveda. So there are 8 branches of Ayurveda, and what is it that is not used here? Everything is used. Naturopathy can find her home under Ayurvedic umbrella. Acupuncture can find her home under Ayurveda. Medicine, Western medicine can find the home under the Ayurveda because we're talking about life in totality,
Yeah.
and we're looking at using the natural resources to begin with. And then, if that is not enough, then we go to the herbs and the formulations and the body work kind of treatments, panchakarmas that we do in Ayurveda, cleansing, detoxifying. There are n number of things, and one lifetime is not enough to even study one little section of Ayurveda. It's such
Mm.
a huge, vast science. And then they say only 20% of the literature of Ayurveda is available in today's day and age. When
Wow.
Takshashila was burnt, 80% of it was gone. Even that 20%, just imagine how much I would know
Yeah.
as an individual. Even that much is more than enough.
Yeah. So it's not just the roots that in Ayurveda it's used, right? It's the whole, like if you, I'm talking about a plant, the medicine is not just the roots
There is a
of the
special
plant.
branch of Ayurveda where the plants are studied. And depending on what is the active ingredient predominantly present in what part of the plant, it's already studied, it's already done.
Mm.
There are some herbs that we use the roots. There are some herbs we will use the leaves. There are some herbs that we use the
Mm.
flowers. Some herbs that we use the fruits. Sometimes the bark. Sometimes the whole herb. Sometimes just the khal, just the skin of the bark. This is already trial and error, and this study is already done 5,000 years ago. All we have to do is just pick it up and apply it where it fits, like a piece of puzzle.
Yeah.
If it fits, then that's it. It gives fast result. It does not take that long. We have to just pinpoint where and what needs to be used.
So there's, I think, one of the things you probably hear this more because I feel like we need to clear that misconception is that when you're doing Ayurveda medication, it increases whatever the problem you have before it takes us out. Is that what it is? Like
Mm,
if there's a problem in the body, it just by taking that medication, you just get more of it before it resolves the issue.
mhm.
Because that's something that I've heard very commonly.
Me too. Me too.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
someone was doing some like, when the kids have pimples when they're in puberty and then they're going for Ayurvedic and then it actually, fills their whole face before
Before
it
it gets better.
actually starts applying the medication and then eventually it gets rid of it completely. But by that time the kid is completely gone. Yes, they're like, I can't do this because
So you
Like I
probably
said,
have a more misconceptions that you've heard about that you'd like to
I have
clear
never
it up.
heard this, but that is interesting explanation, and I can give you some logic why that would be the case. Because in Ayurveda, we also look at this cleansing methods of how the body tends to cleanse. Whenever you have more of any of the dosha, let's say Vata, Pitta, Kapha, that's all we have. It's going to show up somewhere because this is a limited structure, right? When I have to have limited amount of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, whatever I'm born with, whenever I have more than what I need, then the body is going to work on getting rid of it somehow, right? This is the body's natural intelligence is at work. That may be the reason that if, let's say, acne, that's the example was given, something is trying to show up, something is trying to come out. So when Ayurvedic regimen is followed, it's not only the herbs and the pills, but like I said, it can be anything. But let's say herbs, it starts showing up more, then the intelligence in the herb is working in such a way that it is helping the body to get rid of those toxins more efficiently by probably letting it out. And then
Mm,
once it is done, then body finds its balance again. I'm
mm.
just using this as a scenario to
Right.
explain, but
Yeah, because I
that's
think
how
that's
I
what
see
we've
it.
heard, like, it'll flare up more before it clears. But now it makes sense when you say this because
Look at
it's
what is
just
it that is
trying to
causing.
clear it up from the
If you
system. It's
just
just
if
trying to
you
get
just
rid.
stop creating it, that would be the first. Otherwise, you will never come to an end of a problem.
Mm,
If you keep feeding it, then you will not see that. My role as Ayurveda practitioner to begin with for all my client is to give them no herb. I do not start with the herb or any pill. I start with simple regimen to show them the relationship, what we might be doing and why are we having this problem. By just simply changing few things here and there, if I can see a better result on my face, let's say on my acne, that's when there is a time to add the herb, because the person already has a confidence that it has already started getting better because I'm not feeding it, right? Let's say I have a cut and I get the infection. My wound is infected and the doctor prescribes me antibiotic. I take the antibiotic and I go and work in the yard and contaminate my wound with the dirt. I come back, I take the antibiotic, I go back and work in the yard. This is ongoing. My
yeah,
body gets confused. What are we trying to do here? Do you want to heal or not? I'm sending
right.
you mixed signals. So you want to make it simplified. Send one signal that is in one direction. And then the body has to adopt because this is how body works. It responds beyond your imagination. This is an intelligent piece of equipment. In there is the ability to heal.
Yeah,
And it has, like, there is a truth to it. Like, a lot of time you hear people following really strict regimens, and they can reverse ulcers, they can reverse
So many
diabetes,
things.
they can reverse a lot of different things just by following, good, healthy, even diets or exercise or something like that. And the body will react to it, and it will start reversing it, which is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
it's
And then
true.
it doesn't have to be as strict. You don't have to compromise on fun of life,
yeah, yeah.
but
I
it's
mean, there was a
it's
time
what you
when
define
I
as fun.
Yeah, there was a time when I think it was last year or a year before, I try out different things and I thought I'm gonna go Sattvic food. Bhavna remembers it. Oh my God, I did it, I think, for a week or so, but it was so difficult because
It has to be sustained.
working and doing it, and I was like, I was literally killing myself over it because I couldn't come up with recipes that would actually I would like to eat. It was just a drastic change for me, and I was like, "Okay, no, this isn't meant for me."
Moderation is the key. You cannot go in extreme. Ati sarvatra varjet. That's what we say
Yeah,
in Ayurveda. Even too much of thinking of health is not good.
good. Yeah,
Enjoy your life. You're here to enjoy. You do not want to bypass that or have moved your vision from there.
yeah,
The goal is to have fun, not
yeah,
to be just strict with yourself and disciplining yourself and calling yourself not sattvic. And then what?
yeah, yeah,
Who is
absolutely.
going to give you a certificate? And what do you do with that certificate? You don't compromise on fun of life.
That is so true. That is so true. So, Sunita, you've been practicing for so many years, and what is the most rewarding aspect of helping people embrace an Ayurvedic lifestyle for you?
So this is what gives me fun. So
Yeah.
long as it gives me fun, I'm going to do it. And that's why I quit my nursing job because there was a fork in my career in the past that I had to pick one.
Okay.
And what soothes my heart, what gives me peace of mind when I go to bed is this: even if I touch one life in the right way, that's more than enough for me. I don't look at it as business. There is a story of a monk that came up, so I need to mention this. There's a monk that is walking on a seashore, walking, and then there are tons of starfish that are washed off on the
Hmm.
shore and dying because of lack of water, and hundreds of it. And this monk is walking, and as he's walking, he's trying to throw these starfishes back into the ocean. Someone was walking past by and said, there are hundreds. How many are you really manually going to do? What difference is it going to make? He has one starfish in hand and he says, it's going to make a huge difference for this life, and then throws it into the ocean. So it doesn't have to be thousands and thousands, even if it is one.
Yeah.
That's very satisfying and fulfilling. And that gives a tremendous amount of peace that cannot be described in words.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, I guess for all of us, it's the same thing, no matter what business you are in or what you do in your life, as long as you are happy, it brings you joy and it's fulfilling for you. That's all it matters. Otherwise, it's no point of doing it.
Exactly. And you can bring it to any area of your life,
Mhm.
doesn't have to be health and wellness, because life is not only about health and wellness, and so is Ayurveda also not about only health and wellness. This is science of life. It has to touch every aspect of life. Unfortunately, it is considered as health related wellness kind of a thing, but it's about life in totality.
Yeah, Sunita, can you hear me now? No. Okay. All right.
Very little.
Sorry,
Sorry.
ma'am.
Okay. I'll just say I'll write it
You
in the
can you can ask, and we will try to read your lips,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. I just
or you
type.
can type in. Maybe there is a way you can type in.
Yeah, there's a chat she can type
Okay,
in.
maybe there is some chat that she wrote there.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was. But go ahead, Bhavna. Maybe I can repeat it. Oh, there
She
she is.
she wrote something on the chat. Can you
Yeah,
access?
here. Yeah, it's here. Mental health perspective in Ayurveda.
Yeah.
That's what she's asking.
So yes, interesting question to her, because
How Ayurveda can help in mental health.
body and mind, like I said, is not separate. Everything that happens to the mind will have reflection on the body, and everything that goes on in the body will have some change in the mind, because this is one. It's unavoidable. This is always there. Is little tricky thing to work with because we cannot see it.
Mm,
It's a processing, right, that goes on, and this is how we sort certain things in our own head. And Ayurveda is about the body. So the idea here is to use the mind to benefit you, to use it as a tool, that is how it is supposed to be, intended to be. And how can you make best use of your own mind to serve the life that we are in? If it is not serving the life, then it's worth looking at.
mm,
And there are simple thing that we can check in the body to find the answers for the mind problems as well, because where the body and mind meet, that's where the chemistry happens. That's where we get to feel. I'm thinking nervous, anxious thought, I will secrete anxious nervous chemicals. That's what happens. And up to that extent, with the medical technology, we can touch. What about beyond that?
mm,
According to that chemistry, my biology will change. In that line, my actual physical body will change over a period of time. This is a link. Now, there is a simple way to look at this. Instead of going and changing the mind, which is easier said than done, looking at what connects these two. So the breath is the link, like a bridge. On one end, there is a body, and other end, there is a mind. And that's why in yoga, we talk about more in detail about the breath,
mm.
because whatever happens in the body, just like I said, we are not the one who govern the body. In the same way, whatever happens in the mind, we don't govern it. It may look like it may appear like it, but we don't make these thoughts. They're kind of brought into our awareness,
Yeah.
and they're according to the pattern that we have thought in the past. It's like a what they call algorithm.
Mm,
That's exactly how the mind works. Certain kind of thoughts, and like, let's say I'm an Ayurveda practitioner, As an Ayurvedic person, or a family, someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's daughter, someone, whatever, I have certain kind of thoughts that I will think. I won't think as, let's say, an astronomer who goes to the moon or Mars or whatever. Never occur to me, right? Because there's a certain type of thoughts. This is the tendency of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So you can apply the same logic to what is happening in the body, to the mind as well, and see that this is also governed by this universal force that is happening on a bigger scale out there. And that will have a reflection here at the body
Mm,
level and at the mind level. Taking care of the body is always relatively easy because we can see the body. That doesn't mean mind does not exist or may not have any problem. But if you connect it with the body, then it becomes a lot easier to sort it. You
mm.
just put it into Vata Pitta Kapha category and then you know what to do for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Wow. That's really very, very good explanation and very nice. It's something we really truly learned a lot today. I just want to say thank you so much, Sunita, for sharing your incredible knowledge and passion for Ayurveda and wellness with us today. It's inspiring to see how these ancient practices can still have such a profound impact on our modern lives. For our listeners, if you're ready to unlock your vitality and bring balance to your physical, mental, and spiritual selves, consider incorporating with some Ayurvedic tips Sunita shared with us today. And also, we will put Sunita's information in our description for the podcast. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to her or reach out to us, and then we can get those answers for you. Sunita, before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you? Are you on Facebook, Instagram, or just the website, or how can they learn more about your work?
Okay, so yes, I have a website, HoustonAyurveda.com. So it's very simple. I'm a simple person, so everything with me is very simplified. Recently, we have started getting active on social media. So yes, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, and someone is helping me, assisting me to show up out there, because that's what the today's new thing is, being on
Yes.
social media. But you can find us on the website, like I mentioned, and you can call us or connect with us through the email, through the social media. And my office is in River Oaks. This is where the center is, the Houston Ayurveda Center. If you know where the Lakewood Church or Greenway Plaza, in that area, this is like my temple. This is what I consider my practice as, seva, service. In Ayurveda, we say Manav Seva is a Madhav Seva. So,
Right.
and that's how I really try to do it to the best of my ability. I have a team of people who help me there. We have some massage therapists that are licensed in Texas that help me do the bodywork part, because Ayurveda comes with the cleansing protocol as well. We have a small yoga studio where we do the classes. Right now, we are teaching every Monday 9 to 10, sorry, 9 to 10, a class on one herb and one spice that we use regularly in our kitchen, and how to use it in a practical way from Ayurvedic point of view, referring to these three doshas. So again, a very simplified version, like hands on. Actually, how can you use it? Knowing that ginger is great, but how? Exactly where and how. And that's what we are doing in that class. So this is a 10-week long class, and anyone can drop in any day. So Monday 9 to 10 is our class, and we plan to continue doing that. We teach cooking classes, we teach yoga classes, we teach pranayama classes, we teach Ayurveda. We do a lot of things. So if you stay connected with us, you will be informed about it, or you can just look at the website and get the information about it. People like you come my way, and I will be on a podcast. So
Yes.
and that's how it's a word of mouth most of the time for me. Someone has seen me, someone has seen the benefit of following Ayurveda. The science is extremely effective. So I would say, please give it a try to consider it. We do not say no to anything. I'm a nurse, so I understand if you're taking any medication, if you're planning to go for a surgery, you're going through chemotherapy. We see all versions from
Mm.
all ages, from pediatric to geriatric. We see, pregnant women, we see all kinds of
Wow.
cases that all the doctors have been seen and no result, and then they come our way. We see those cases. People who have no problem just come to educate themselves, we see those cases. So everything in between
Yeah.
is already included there. So we see variety of cases, and seems like it's working because I'm in practice for over 25 years, and
Yeah,
seems like
there you
it's
go.
working.
That's the proof itself. That staying in the business for 25 years, that itself says it all. That and word of mouth, like you said.
And in the science, what we do really matters. That's how I look at it. This is such a
Right.
widely effective things. Just people don't know what exactly to be done. If you keep it to big scale, then we end up doing nothing. I give you one, two, three things to do and see the result yourself.
That's it. That's what it matters.
Yeah. Thank you
Anyway,
so much for having me. It was
thank
lovely
you.
talking with you all
Yeah.
together, and it's nice to be part of this whole team.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. And to everyone tuning in, remember to prioritize your wellness and take small steps each day towards living a balanced, harmonious life, like Sunita said. Until next time on Global Desi Women, take care, stay inspired, be kind to yourself and to others. Goodbye.
Namaste. You get to live this life once. Do the best.
Yep.